Almost 1 million people die from lead poisoning every year, with more children suffering long-term health effects, according to the World Health Organization. Lead is a naturally occurring element that's known to have been a deadly neurotoxin for over 4,000 years. Lead is often emitted through industrial pollution, with people in developing nations suffering the worst, as this documentary will explore. It's often used in car batteries, solder, and radiation protection, but humans most commonly come into contact with it through lead paint, ceramics, and lead pipes. Lead pipes are found in all 50 US states, including Puerto Rico and DC, and have been used worldwide since their invention in ancient Rome. For my grade 10 project, I decided to make a documentary exploring the history of lead pipes in Washington, DC, and the efforts the city has made to eradicate them. Here's a video showing lead ore being processed into pure grains, which can then be easily melted. Note the complete lack of safety equipment on the worker. It was posted just 2 years ago in China, showing that lead safety precautions aren't widely considered necessary in developing and newly industrialized nations. The knowledge of lead's toxicity predates the start of ancient Rome, with lead's toxic tendencies being recorded as early as 2000 BC. From then on, it was known as a miracle metal, a term coined by the lead industry. Its soft and malleable properties allowed it to be mass-produced into lead plumbing, lead pencils, and even added into petrol in the form of lead tetraethyl.
That's a terrific car.
You want it? It's yours. Cheap.
Cheap? They don't make them like that anymore.
I know, but a beauty like that deserves leaded premium gas. That's hard to find these days.
I can find it.
Where?
Right there.
Union 76 still has leaded premium?
Union 76 Super, one of the best leaded premiums around.
Introduced in the 1920s, lead tetraethyl improved the efficiency of vehicles and the performance of the engine. It was phased out globally just recently in 2021. American blood lead levels have plummeted more than 90% in the recent decades. In the late 70s, almost 9 out of 10 children were walking around with high lead levels. By 2008, it was closer to 1 in 100. However, this isn't the case throughout the world. Children in developing nations suffer greatly from lead exposure. The CDC states that a youth blood lead level reading of above 5 micrograms per deciliter requires immediate action. While the average blood lead reading for children in the US between 2017 and 2020 was just 0.6 micrograms per deciliter, a 2021 study that analyzed the pooled average lead level in children in medium and low income countries showed worrying results. Out of 1,800 children tested in Palestine, the average blood lead levels were 9.3 micrograms per deciliter, more than 15 times higher than the American average. Children in Pakistan came second highest, with an average reading of 9.27 micrograms per deciliter, followed by Cameroon with 8.7. Serbia, a European country currently applying for EU candidacy, had an average of 7.8 among their children. Studies show that there are no safe levels of lead in children, and prolonged exposure has been shown to lead to lower IQ, behavioral problems, kidney damage, and delays in development. DC has a long and troubled history with lead pipes. They were first used when the city was built as an inexpensive and versatile pipe to supply residents with drinking water. Their presence largely went unnoticed until 2001, when lead levels were discovered to be 83 times higher than the accepted safe limit. People only started hearing more about it in 2004, when the Washington Post ran a front-page hit piece on the issue. Here's Sean Moore, communications manager for the Lead-Free DC initiative, to tell us more.
So lead pipes were commonly used during the early 1900s for water distribution, wastewater distribution, because they were a very durable yet inexpensive and easy to use type of material. So that's why they were used, and a lot of that facilitated growth of communities because they had this great, quote unquote, at the time, great resource to bring water into these residences, from a municipal system.
Okay, so we now know that lead was used because of its price and special properties to create large water distribution systems in communities which propelled their growth. Other old cities like Philadelphia have vast networks of old lead pipes too. But why did this system in DC specifically leak so much lead into the water that it led to a water crisis?
In terms of the problem with lead pipes, we go back to 2004 when DC made some changes to the chemical disinfectant that they use in the water. And when they changed that chemical, it created a whole crisis in lead. So there's a chemical that we have been adding to the water called orthophosphate. And what that chemical does, it coats the pipes. And so it keeps any lead materials, from leaching into the water. What happened in 2004 is the chemicals that are used to treat the water, we changed that chemical from that orthophosphate chemical. And of course, what that did was all that, once that lining went away, that the orthophosphate was building up, those particles of lead from those pipes and others that were trapped in sediment inside pipes were able to leach into the water. And you had some serious spikes in lead levels in children across the city, in any areas that had lead or galvanized pipes.
When the word lead pipe comes to mind, for most people, they think of the 2014 drinking water crisis in Flint, Michigan, which is considerably more well known than the DC crisis. However, while these incidents had many similarities, including institutional mismanagement, they are slightly different.
There was a difference. What happened in DC in 2004 is that we changed the chemicals in the pipes in the water supply, which then orthophosphate type chemical, which that disinfectant as it is, which then caused that lead to be released from those pipes. In Flint, they had some similar things, but theirs was twofold. They did change the materials that they used to treat the water, one. But two, they took a whole new source of water instead of the water that they previously had received from the city of Detroit. They went and started their own water treatment system, and they pulled that water from the Flint River, which is a historically industrial river, which comes with its own problems of heavy metals and other things. It exacerbated corrosion within those pipes, which then allowed that lead or whatever lead was present in those lead pipes or galvanized pipes to be released into the water.
According to Maureen Schmeling, the Director of Water Quality and Technology at DC Water, as of 2022, there are still 30,000 lead service lines in the district. DC Water, the organisation overlooking the water system within DC, has a very useful map showing each individual household in DC and their lead pipe status. I used this map to identify multiple households in the Cleveland Park and Van Ness neighbourhoods around my school, verified to have a lead service line. I went out during 2 weekends and asked the residents some questions to get a better understanding of the perception of lead pipes by the residents, and if they do in fact actually have a lead service line.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have 2 or 3 minutes to talk about lead pipes for my school project?
About what?
About lead pipes?
No.
Okay, it's okay. Have a good day, bye.
I'm so sorry, I'm like walking out the door
it's
right
okay,
now.
don't worry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay.
I'm currently working, actually.
It's all
virtually.
good.
I
It's all good, don't
apologize.
worry. Alright, bye. Have a good day.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
Bedtime. Thank
Okay, have a good day.
I'm sorry, I don't right now.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, but I'm on the phone.
Oh,
You
okay.
see, that's-
Oh, sorry.
So I cannot.
Oh, you can't? Alright, thank you, bye. Hey, I'm really sorry to bother you. Do you have 2 or 3 minutes to talk about lead pipes for my school project?
Sure, come on.
Alright, great, thank you.
I want to talk about lead pipes for school project.
Oh, but we already have our left next. Try to get it done. Yeah, I know. Between
Yeah.
the street and the entrance,
Yeah.
there's that little piece that we just found out when we were redoing our.
Okay,
basement,
so do you guys still have the lead pipe?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and
We'll change it.
Alright, let's have a look at the data. Altogether, I went to 41 houses around my school, all verified to have a lead service line according to the previous DC water map. I didn't expect everyone to be home, so I guessed about half of the houses would answer the door, and I was right. 44% of households answered the door to me, or 18 out of 41. However, this next piece of data surprised me. Out of the 18 people who answered the door to me, only 5 of them took a few minutes out of their day to give me their thoughts and some information, amounting to just 28% of households, that is, out of the ones that opened their doors. Next, out of the individuals who talked to me about their lead pipes, 4 out of 5 said that they had theirs replaced already, 2 of them specifying they had copper pipes. I've informed DC Water of this and asked for the status of these houses to be updated in their system. I spoke to one person whose 2-year-old daughter tested extremely high for blood lead content when she was at that age, and they found out about their lead service line that way. Overall, I was surprised how little people made time to talk to me for a few minutes, especially on a weekend. The people who did talk to me, though, were very friendly and gave me useful information. Finally, let's see what steps DC Water is taking to eradicate lead pipes in the district.
So that led to some legislation by the district council regarding lead service line replacements, and kicked off a number of different lead service line replacement programs that DC Water and the DC government kind of started back in the early 2000s. If you bring that back to today, those programs, they went along, and we replaced a few service lines. Well, we replaced thousands of service lines with those programs. But in 2019 is when DC Water launched the Lead-Free DC program, which the program is designed to replace, with the goal of replacing every lead service line in the city, and being able to offer that to people for free. So that's the new goal, and that's what we're trying to do now through the Lead-Free DC initiative.